Hello, my name is Dee. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you have been here before. Today we are going to be doing a reading on what is coming up next in your career and in your finances. As always, we will have three choices. The first is what I believe to be red jasper. The second pile, we will have tiger's eye. And for pile 3, we will have goldstone. And with that said, pile 1, my perhaps red jasper pile, let us see what is going on, what is coming up next in your career and in your finances. Okay, we will get some tarot cards and then we probably will pull oracle cards. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes, pile 1. Okay. What is coming up next for pile 1? Ooh. What was interesting was the card that jumped out is the King of Pentacles, and I'm sure it wasn't caught on camera, but it when it flipped out, it went like, so it went from upright toward being in reverse. To me, what that can signify, even just based off that card, is that perhaps there has been an opportunity as of recent, so maybe a new job that didn't really turn out the way that you expected it to. That there was something that you thought was going to bring you further financial abundance or really set you up in a state where you'd feel financially secure and stable and even moving toward financial prosperity. And it's almost like then all of a sudden I wouldn't even say all of a sudden, it was like, oh wow, like this is not it. This new job is not it. And then the devil weakly fell out, followed by the 9 of Pentacles. So I do feel like you got stuck, let's say, or you didn't get stuck, but right now you might feel stuck, especially with that devil card. Too many cards fell out. Especially with that devil card, it's almost like you might feel stuck in this place that isn't really adding to your worth, and you're still trying to find your way with that 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles would indicate financial stability and security being on the way, or you being close to it. But to see that King of Pentacles, it does feel like to me, and especially the way in which he fell out, it does feel like there's this energy, and then like I said with the devil card, feeling somewhat stuck, feeling like you're still ungrounded, feeling either depressed or miserable at your job, feeling like it's a hostile work environment. And again, I do feel like in regard to the financial stability and security that you thought it was going to bring you, it's not bringing you what it was that you thought it would, or maybe what was portrayed to you. And I feel like this is kind of what you're dealing with right now. You might be dealing with this, do I stay or do I go? Because eventually this type of job or this type of path that you're on is going to bring you the financial stability and security. But I would like to ask, though, at what cost? You know, like at what cost? Because it seems like you're, compromising yourself in one way or another. And I especially say that because the Temperance card in reverse jumps out next. Temperance in reverse can indicate a lack of balance, and there being a lack of balance within your life, especially within your work life, would indicate that there is a lack of a work-life balance. So you might feel like you either have to work until the end of days in order to bring in that financial prosperity that you felt that you were promised, or that you felt like you had secured by getting this job, or it might be a really big struggle for you when it comes to this job to have any type of a life outside of work. This could be like responding to calls and emails after hours and so on and so forth. It could be constantly being overscheduled or called in on your days off and so on and so forth. So this I would have to say this current situation that you're in, it is really becoming a matter of, to me, how, like, how much is this job worth? Because I don't even feel like the financial prosperity that you're hoping to obtain from it is a given. You know, it feels like it's more of a promise or a hope that maybe one day this is going to be something that really allows for you to bring that money in, that really allows for you to advance within your career, but at what cost to you and your happiness and your fulfillment. Okay, so let's see if we can get some cards for what is coming up next. And I also feel like if this is predictive in any way, if this is, you know, something like you're trying to go after a new job, or you're trying to go after a new career path, but you know how, let's say, strenuous and burdensome it's going to be, and you know how much it's going to take away from your life outside of work and career, that this might be something that you want to rethink. Okay, but I do feel like for most of us, this is where we're kind of feeling stuck right now. You know, we're feeling stuck at this job where maybe the only way for you to succeed or to excel or to bring in that immense amount of financial abundance, you would have to literally work yourself to the bone. And I don't feel like that is something that any of us want to do, like that any of us want to do for the rest of our lives. When we move forward now, as to what's coming up next, we have the Fool and we have the Six of Swords. So the Fool to me can indicate you moving forward toward or taking some sort of leap of faith when it comes to your career path. And I feel like for you, especially since we have the Hanged Woman, or the Hanged Man jumping out next, after these two cards, this would really signify to me just how stuck you truly feel right now. Okay, that you are feeling this sense of overwhelm. Maybe this place, maybe this isn't a recent career switch. Maybe this is a place that you've been for a long time, and it's had this comfort level, or this it's brought you this sense of comfort, but it's also brought you this sense of stagnancy, and it's also made it really difficult for you to move on from it. And what you're being urged to do is to recognize that this recent and or comfort zone career, and I don't even feel like I feel like it's a workplace even, this comfort zone workplace is not really working for you anymore. You know, this comfort zone workplace is holding you back in a myriad of ways, and it is basically this indication of, if you don't take the leap of faith and move on from it already, the miserable feelings that you obtain from your job are going to continue, and they're going to get worse. Okay, and I feel like that's basically a warning here, that with the Fool and the Six of Swords, two cards that indicate movement, the Fool himself indicating you really taking a leap of faith and either going to a different workplace, which would be a huge deal for you, especially if this has been such a comfort zone place for you to be. But either way, you taking this leap of faith, going into a different career, or you going into a different workplace, is going to be such a big deal for you, especially if you've derived some comfort from this current job. Okay, but you're being urged to know that if you take what you consider a risk, not only that, but for you it would be, I feel, a very calculated risk. This wouldn't be something that you'd be completely jumping into. You're being urged to do so because with the Six of Swords, it is going to move you closer to that financial prosperity and to that even just stability and security that you've been looking for. And you're not going to feel stuck. And I also feel like it's almost like once you set the ball in motion, like there's going to be this heightened sense, let's say, or what I'm picking up on is like this heightened sense of confidence, this heightened sense of motivation, so that if you do, let's say, step into a career or a workplace that is also very burdensome and strenuous and unfulfilling for you, you're not going to be afraid to take another risk and try something else. But this current place, and maybe places like it, if it is a recent career switch, have become such a comfort zone type of thing for you, that the like stagnancy from it at this point is really just allowing for you to feel very uncomfortable. The Hanged Woman in reverse would indicate feeling very stuck. I usually look at this card as a perpetuated state of negativity, feeling ultra confined, ultra restricted. And I do feel like there's this message here, or again, I think I said it was like a warning that the more that you stay stuck, it's almost like the more that you stay stuck, but more so the more that you convince yourself that you're stuck, the more stuck you're going to become. And you're not stuck by any means whatsoever. It just feels like on a mental and emotional level, you're going to feel a lot less motivated to do anything because this perpetuated state of negativity, which is making you feel more anxious and more depressed and so on and so forth, making you less motivated and less comfortable with putting yourself out there to try to attract something new. And then we finish with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands urging for you to stick to your guns, basically, and not to allow yourself to get stuck in this perpetuated state of negativity. I also feel like, especially with the Six of Swords preceding the Hanged Man in reverse, that the major thing that needs to heal first, as in what's coming next in your career and your finances, is healing. You know, you need to begin to heal when it comes to what's going on mentally and emotionally. You need to begin to heal from any self-doubt that you might feel. You need to begin to heal, or to begin to take small steps forward past any stagnancy that you're currently feeling, any imbalances that you might feel. There's a need for you to begin to move forward. There's also a need for you to begin to heal your relationship with money. And I do feel like, in regard to what's coming next in your career, you're obviously being urged to take a leap of faith, and that leap of faith is quite literally you moving forward, whether it's a new career path or a new workplace that's going to be more fulfilling for you. However, overall, very, very strong messages here that if you do not begin to do this healing work first, you're going to remain stuck. Because you haven't done, like you haven't, let's say, I don't like to put it this way, but it is this message of you haven't done the work. And what's being indicated here is like a lot of what has held you back have been things like self-doubt, depression, or anxiety. So if you're not working on or healing from depression, self-doubt, or anxiety, where do you expect to get the motivation to do what it is that you want to do in regard to your career? And that's why I'm going to just quickly say again, the first step in all of this, because as I said, you are being urged to take the leap of faith. But if you have been struggling with money, if you have been struggling or feeling stuck, feeling depressed, anxious, doubtful of yourself, if you've been feeling like you have no work-life balance, and so on and so forth, these are all things that you are going to have to start to address with yourself, and begin to heal from, in order to make positive movement forward. Because at this point in time, it's very difficult, if you are suffering from any of that, especially something like depression and anxiety, it's very difficult to muster up the motivation that you would need, the motivation and the confidence and the worthiness that you would need to attract the abundance that you want to attract into your life. Okay, so I hope that this is making sense. But what's next is your healing, and you are moving forward toward and making positive movement forward toward a new workplace or a new career path for yourself. And, oh my goodness, who to join us other than the Angel of Balance? Okay, so again, just sort of solidifying what I've been going over. This is the Energy Oracle deck. It was my first Oracle deck that I ever got, so I love this deck so much. But the Angel of Balance is reiterating what I was just going over, that there's a need for you to come back into balance. There's a need for you to focus on your own healing before you're going to see any major movement made in your career. And that's because again, how are you supposed to muster up the courage, the confidence, the worthiness, the inner strength, and so on and so forth, if you are feeling extremely imbalanced and out of alignment? If your relationship with money is in the shitter, if all you feel is just this feeling of being stuck, and if you just perpetually feel negative, and also if you perpetuate negative thought patterns as it pertains to money and to your potential, and to what it is that you're capable of. It's very difficult if you're in this more so lack or negative mindset. It's very difficult for you, again, to find that motivation to take any leap of faith and to make positive movement forward toward a much more fulfilling career path. Okay, so we have Angel of Balance. Again, focus on your healing first. And then we have the Appreciation card. And I look at the Appreciation card as the Nine of Pentacles. And I feel like even with the Appreciation card, it's calling for you to have gratitude. It's calling for you to adopt an abundance mindset. And I do also feel like with the Appreciation card being, or following the Angel of Balance, it's kind of like this message of, focus on what's going on in your inner world. Also focus on adopting and cultivating an abundance mindset. Focus on your gratitude, and what you're grateful for. But that's also an indication to me, like, once you begin to heal what's going on in your inner world, once you begin again to feel more balanced, that is when you are going to begin to attract more abundance into your life. That's when you're going to feel more motivated to go after opportunities within your career. The last two cards to jump out were the Garden and the Gate, and the Strategy card. So the Garden and the Gate is once again indicating that there are certain things that you see yourself going after in regard to your career. Again, whether it be a new career path, whether it be a new workplace, but you're keeping yourself stuck. You're keeping yourself gated in, basically, is what this is indicating. Again, that stuckness, that stagnancy, even that perpetuation of negative thought patterns and negativity surrounding your potential or what it is that you're capable of. And the final card to jump out being Strategy, to me, this is not something that's going to change in a day. And I feel like the reason why is because there's such a mental and emotional aspect to this. I also feel like it's because there's a lot of like self-healing and self-work that needs to go into this as well. It's not just as simple as, and I feel like the reason why it's not just that simple as, and trust me, this is something that I suffered with for a very, 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 very long time. This could be a reading for me like 3 months ago. But the reason why it's such a struggle is because of the comfort level that you have. And also, I feel because of promises that were made with whatever it is that you're currently doing that have been broken. So whether it's a career path that seems very promising or it's a workplace that seemed very promising, you're starting to realize that this place is not it, but it's grown to become such a comfort zone for you that it's very difficult for you to find your way out of it. Okay, again, hope that makes sense. And a lot of that too is adding to the depression and the anxiety because there is no work-life balance. You're working yourself to the bone. And all of it kind of culminates and allows for you to feel even more stuck. And it allows for that perpetuated stuckness. It allows for that, perpetuated lack of motivation to change what's going on here, because it's very difficult since you don't have a work-life balance. And in that regard, you might not be able to be focusing on your own healing and cultivating an abundance mindset and doing all this self-healing work and so on and so forth. So it's all, again, culminating in making you feel more stuck. And it's absolutely necessary with the Strategy card for you to begin to take this step by step and piece by piece. The mental component of this perhaps needs to be dealt with first. The Strategy card would then indicate creating some type of self-care routine or meditation routine. The strategy card would also highly indicate beginning to research and plot and plan what it is that you want to do into the near future. And basically creating small, manageable goals that you're going to be able to follow through with, especially during times where you might feel like you don't have a work-life balance. Okay, so I hope that that made sense. And I hope that it was helpful for you moving forward this next couple of weeks or months. So thank you so much, Pile One, for allowing for me to read for you today. I hope that I was able to bring you some insight into what is going on in your career. And I also hope that you have a wonderful day. Hello, Pile 2, my Tiger's Eye Pile. So let's see what is going on for you. What is coming up next in your career? Oh my goodness, almost lost the whole deck. But let's see what is going on for you in your career. Let's see what is coming up next for you. That is the gist of the reading. What is going on and what is coming up next in regard to your career, in regard to your finances, my Pile 2s. Okay. Ooh, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups, that's a good sign. Knight of Cups, oh my goodness, Pile 2. Okay, so we have Knight of Cups and we have Temperance. To me, this indicates you focusing on creative endeavors and how much that allows for you to feel truly alive, truly balanced. But there is something going on here because I do feel like you have some type of creative talent. Let's say you're, a writer with this Knight of Cups. You're, either an intuitive or a creative, or you're a mixture of both. And focusing on that intuitive work or on that creative work allows for you to feel super balanced, allows for you to feel like you're in alignment, allows for you to feel like you are living out your life's purpose. Your, this focusing on your intuitive or on your creative work would be your life's dream. But you're not acting on it with the Page of Wands in reverse and with the Nine of Wands in reverse. And to me, this would read as you might have a very corporate-esque type of job or a very 9-to-5 type of job. And it takes you away from either that intuitive or that creative work. Okay, so I feel like for Pile 2, these are my, again, creatives, whether you write or draw or sing and so on and so forth, or my tarot reading Reiki pile, Reiki practitioner and so on and so forth pile. And it does feel like you're being taken away from your purpose, you're being taken away from your life's work because of something else, and that causes you a ton of frustration because you do know and you do feel like the more that you fail to act on living out your passion and living out, exploring your dream and whatever, so on and so forth, the more that you're being taken away from it, the further away from your goal that you feel, and the more even perhaps overwhelming it gets, because it's like, how am I going to transition from doing what I want to do, from doing what I have to do into, or moving into doing what I want to do. And the more that you are focused on, or the more, let's say, hours you have, the busier it is at work, the less motivated you feel. And the more that you, let's say, fail to create, fail to produce, fail to act, so on and so forth when it comes to your creative ideals. So to me, what's being indicated here is you either need to make some type of routine for yourself that allows for you, even during the tough times, even during the lack of motivation times, making some sort of routine to be able to focus on this creative or intuitive work is going to be absolutely necessary. And I also feel like what's coming up next is you having to begin to move away from whatever this, again, 9-to-5 corporate-esque job is, and allowing yourself to see and to believe that you can make a living doing exactly what it is that you want to be doing. Okay, so what's coming up next, there might need to be some mindset shifts. There might need to also be some shifts within your routine or your schedule, because there's this heavily frustrated feeling that you're beginning to have, and it's because you don't have the time, or you don't feel like you have the time to focus on what it is that you want to be doing, your creative work or your intuitive work. And who are you? Okay. I love it. So it's King of Pentacles and Queen of Swords jumped out. Again, you are being urged to understand that you can make a living doing exactly what it is that you want to be doing versus what it is that you feel like you have to do. Something else that could be going on here is trying to live up to the expectations of others, and you're being urged to follow through with what it is that is your most authentic truth. So if you are a intuitive or if you are a creative, you're being urged to begin to get real with yourself and to recognize that so long as you're being able to put your time, effort, and energy into these creative goals, that this is something that you can absolutely begin to get financial stability, security, leading toward prosperity from. That you can be and do exactly who it is that you want to be, and you can do exactly what it is that you want to do by staying true to yourself and staying true to those innate gifts that you have, versus continuing to pour your time, effort, and energy into this job that you are unfulfilled by, that you are not happy with, and that takes a lot of your time, effort, and energy. So, of course, I say this every week, sometimes multiple times a week, depending on what what the videos are about. But of course, money makes the world go around. So for a lot of us, we can't just up and quit our day jobs and jump right into our creative or our intuitive work without having that, like routine or strategy in place beforehand. So that might be something that might be your next step, is kind of planning your escape route out of where you're currently at. Another thing that I heard, which again, and I said this earlier too, a lot of times I feel like spirit is just kind of like, fuck it, quit. Like, or fuck them, quit. So something that I heard was, this job takes a lot of your time, effort, and energy away from what it is that you'd like to be doing. So one thing that I am picking up on from this is, stop going in when people call out. Only work your 9 to 5. Why are you staying 3 hours after work? And are you even being paid to continue your work outside of work? Stop answering phone calls and emails after you leave your desk, and so on and so forth. Like, in whatever way that it resonates on this 9 to 5 day job type of thing that you've got going on, stop making yourself, and the reason why I giggled is because I heard like, fuck them, stop making yourself available. And that could be something that's going on here as well. Maybe you're working well beyond your 40 hours a week that you have to work there. Maybe even there's a way for you to cut your hours down to, let's say, 20 or 30 hours a week, so that, especially if you have something that's more so established creatively or, again, intuitively, if you have something that's more so established, maybe there's a way for you to go somewhat part-time at your day job. That way you still have the financial, some financial security coming in from that job as you focus on and propel yourself forward with your dream job. But that's one thing that I did here was like, fuck them, stop making yourself available. And again, that could be an availability thing. That could be that you constantly go in on your day off, or you stay later than you should, or you go in earlier, and on and on. Whatever it is that resonates. And I think that that's it. I think that that's that. I think that that's where they want to end it. Is fuck them. You know, stop. And I do feel like that's important too, because I do, with that, even with that Page of Wands in reverse and that Nine of Wands in reverse, it's like you're getting frustrated at the delays that you're experiencing when it comes to your creative or intuitive work, but you're also perhaps working yourself to the bone when it comes to your day job. So it is very difficult for you to have that motivation, and it's difficult for you to not feel frustrated when you are, you know, burning the candle at both ends. Okay, so we are just going to get a couple of oracle cards. This is the energy oracle deck. But you're being urged to stop making yourself so available. Even stop making yourself available to things that no longer serve you. Like if you have this goal in mind, you want to begin to create a business and make money from, or you already have something established. If you basically, okay, you're being urged to focus on the creative and the intuitive work. You know, whether this is something new that you want to start to move forward into, or whether you're more established, you're being urged to begin to try to transition your, you know, your career or your work life to where you are solely focusing on this. And I feel like for a lot of us, you are probably moonlighting. You know, you are perhaps probably, you know, if you're an intuitive, you are perhaps working yourself to the bone at your day job. Maybe you stayed an extra hour or two, you work through your lunch break, and then you're coming home and you're completing, you know, 3 readings. And then you just worked a like 12, 13, 14-hour day. And it's making everything very exhausting, and you're not seeing any movement forward because there's no, like at this point, you might not have a plan or a strategy in place other than you just continuing to work yourself to death. And that needs to stop. You know, that needs to stop. And it's if anything, it's actually just creating more delays in you getting what it is that you want, which is living a life and making money from and being very financially prosperous, being very financially prosperous by staying true to yourself and living a life that's true to you and true to your innate gifts. And we have Woman Holding a Heart, which is yet again an urge for you to follow your dreams and to follow your passions, to stay true to yourself, to focus on what it is that allows for you to feel purposeful, passionate, fulfilled, and happy. Something that is literally work that's coming from your heart and soul, which would be this creative or intuitive work that is coming through here. And who are you? Oh no, we have yin and yang, but we have it in reverse. So that represents the yang cycle, which is the divine inspired action. And that's what's starting to perhaps be missing here, as we could tell by this, you know, failure to act and the frustration in the ways that you're feeling like you're failing to act. So again, we want to create small, manageable goals. We perhaps want to create goals that align with what it is that we're, you know, currently having to deal with. You know, you might not be able to up and quit your day job tomorrow. So in the meantime, you have to create some type of schedule that allows for you to work through or work on and complete small manageable goals. But the yang cycle is indicative of divine inspired action, which is what is beginning to need to take place. Because you already know, you've already been receptive, let's say. You've already been in that yin cycle where you now know, and you have now found that this creative work, that this intuitive work, or this work that really allows for you to show off and to utilize your innate talents is exactly what it is that you want to be moving forward toward. You know that, you've got the message. But now it's all about taking that divine inspired action to make positive movement forward toward it. Then we have, oh my goodness, then we have the root chakra, Again, actually, even with the root chakra, it does have to deal with safety, security, stability. It has to deal with financial stability and security as well. I also sometimes look at it as kind of like a home or like a foundation. And that is, I do feel like something that's going on right now when it comes to whatever this maybe side business or creative and intuitive work is, regardless of what step you're at when it comes to you beginning to do that type of work. This is you building the foundation for yourself to live the rest of your life on. This is you building the foundation of this business. And as I'm saying all of this, the strategy card is at the bottom of the deck, yet again indicating, this is you plotting and planning and building this foundation to move forward toward this new life where, again, you are doing exactly what it is that you would like to be doing. And with that root chakra, this is also indicating further financial stability and security, leading you toward the prosperity that the King of Pentacles brought up by following and being true to yourself. What are you? We have the Thinking Man. The Thinking Man is a card that can be indicative of someone that might help you along the way, particularly a man. Either reaching out to this person and them somewhat mentoring you, either, what's the word? I know it also brings up like a therapist or a psychologist type of thing, but basically a mentor, and that this mentor would perhaps be a man, maybe even a, father figure type of person that's within your life, maybe somebody that could help you with financial backing, but I don't feel like that's going to resonate for everyone here, but that card would generally indicate, like a helpful male energy within your life. And then we have the second chakra being the sacral chakra. And lately, when I think of the sacral chakra, I've been looking at it as aligning you're aligning with your passions and your desires, and I do feel like that's exactly what's going on right now. You are literally beginning to align with what your truest passions and your truest desires, what would be truly purposeful and fulfilling for you. You're beginning to align with those things, and that's why you're feeling such an urge to go after them. But due to other things going on in your life, obviously there might be some failure to act. But all in all, you're being urged to continue to align with those desires and those passions that you have. You're being urged to continue onward when it comes to whatever this creative and intuitive work is, because that is what allows for you to feel truly passionate, and that's something that you truly desire to do for the rest of your life. So overall, very, very positive reading. And if you are a creative or an intuitive, or you have some type of innate gift, this reading is clearly indicating that what's coming up next for you as you begin to make these small manageable goals toward this ultimate goal of doing this type of work, this type of creative work or intuitive work full time, that you're going to be highly successful at it. Okay, so I hope that brought you some clarity and some insight into what is going on next in your career and in your finances. Thank you so, so much, my Tiger's Eye pile, for allowing me to read for you today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Hello, pile 3, my goldstone pile. So today we are going to be doing this reading on what is coming up next in your career and your finances. Okay, pile 3, we're trying to see what is going on, what is coming up next. Okay, pile 3, let's see what's up. Okay, so the first type of vibe that I get, pile 3, sorry for calling you out so early in the reading, but the first type of vibe that I get from this is that your situation isn't going to magically change or fix itself. And we have the Empress in reverse. We have the Seven of Cups, and then we have the Three of Wands in reverse. So to me, this is you, wishing and hoping and fantasizing for something to come about within your career, but without you making forward movement toward any type of goal. Okay? This is like you kind of wishfully, the Seven of Cups can even directly mean wishfully thinking for something or wishful thinking. And that's what it feels like for me here. Like you're not taking care of yourself, you're not taking care of business, you're not trying to heal your relationship with money, you're not trying to focus on self-care or building up your self-worth in order to make positive movement forward. And then the Three of Wands in reverse to me would indicate that there's a lack of movement forward, that there's a lack of progress. And with that Seven of Cups being in between those two cards, it is basically, again, this indication of wishful thinking. So basically here where we start off, if you want to see changes within your career, you need to start making some moves. You need to start doing something about it. And then we have the Two of Swords in reverse, indicating that you might feel kind of stuck right now. And I'll take that back. You feel stuck right now. You feel stuck. You have no idea what to do in regard to your career. And I feel like part of that might have to deal with you not really feeling passionately toward one thing or another. So that might be an aspect of this, that, and as far as what comes next, as far as what comes next, maybe figuring it out or finding out what it is that you do feel passionate and purposeful about, which would take, a whole bunch of self-healing work, even inner child work, and going back to what it is that allowed for you to feel joyful or fulfilled as a child. Looking for, especially when you're doing that type of work, to see or to pick up on or to, what's that word, to re-experience things in order to see what it is that you do have as an innate gift or an innate talent, so that you can utilize that when moving forward toward a career that might be especially fulfilling for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So I feel like that is obviously what's perhaps going on right now. Now I want to delve more into what is going on, or what you're being urged to focus on next. And the Lovers in reverse jumped out, which can indicate an imbalance taking place within your career, followed by the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of plotting and planning, a card of manifestation, a card of cultivating and building a foundation for yourself, cultivating a new mindset, cultivating an abundance mindset. And I feel like that's, again, what is coming up next year. You feel very stuck. I feel like this pile, even part of the reason why there might be so much wishful thinking and hoping that things just kind of fall together on their own, is because you have no fucking idea what it is that you want to be doing moving forward into the future. And that's totally normal. I feel like most of us have no fucking idea what we want to do with our lives. And then we eventually find something that is fulfilling. And that's something that you need to start focusing on, especially with the Lovers in reverse. It's very difficult for you to make a decision regarding your career if you have absolutely no idea what it is that you want to be doing. So there's a lot of self-healing work that needs to begin to take place. Again, I would recommend focusing on inner child healing. I would recommend focusing on cultivating an abundance mindset as well. And if this wishful thinking does have anything to do with manifesting, and I feel like this is for a select group of people, let's say. If you have been trying to manifest abundance or money, make sure that you're having both that manifestation and that asking aspect of it, as well as something that you're doing physically in real life to allow for that energy or that abundance to come to you. So, for example, and on a personal note, if this does have to do with manifestation, and if I'm trying to manifest money or manifest abundance into my life, I would say something along the lines of, and I would write it down and journal it, something along the lines of, I intend to attract new and returning clients into my tarot business. And then I would write a sentence immediately after that that's something along the lines of, I intend to do so by continuing to put myself out there on social media, such as, YouTube and Instagram. And even with that, sometimes I'll take it a step further and it'll be, I intend to post 3 YouTube videos a week, or sometimes I usually do it by the month. So it would be like, I intend to post 12 YouTube videos this month, and I intend to post weekly on Instagram at least 3 to 4 times. Because it ties in that astral aspect of the manifestation, which is I intend to attract this into my life. Or I desire this to come into my life. But you also need to add a physical aspect to your manifestation, and then you actually have to follow through with that physical aspect to help the manifestation come to fruition. So again, even when you're doing manifestation work, and if for some of us that manifestation is leading for us to have this, wishful thinking that it's just going to come to fruition, you also have to make sure that you are, both doing the astral work and the physical work that will help the manifestation along. Okay, I hope that made sense. I don't usually explain things very well, but I hope that made sense, and maybe help somebody who is trying to manifest all of these things, but maybe isn't tying in the physical aspect into it. Nope. And then, again, when it comes to basically the main messages that have been coming through here, we have Queen of Pentacles, we have Knight of Wands, and we have Ace of Cups. So again, you're being urged to focus on and to perhaps even go back to what it is that you find fulfilling, what it is that really speaks to you, what it is that also allows for you to feel worthy in regard to your work. And that's, of course, most of the time going to be tied to some innate gift or talent that we have. And the Ace of Cups and even the Knight of Wands bring up this creativity and this passionate energy toward, whatever it is that you'd perhaps be doing within a career. So the Two of Swords, again, is indicating that one of the reasons why you're feeling lost or don't feel like you have any direction right now in regard to your career, one of the reasons why you might feel like you are being idealistic or wishfully thinking that something's going to fall into your lap, is because you don't have any idea what it is that you could picture yourself doing or want to be doing long term. That's causing a lot of imbalance right now, and those imbalances need to be focused on. The imbalances definitely have to deal with self-worth and and even perhaps not being in alignment, being out of balance yourself. Not really knowing what it is that you want to be moving forward toward because you don't really know what it is that you want. I would also recommend focusing on reconnecting to yourself, reconnecting to your inner guidance, so your intuition. Okay, focusing on reconnecting to your intuition, focusing on meditative work as well, and especially meditative work that deals with harnessing your intuition as well as cultivating an abundance mindset. Okay, because and not only that, but also feeling worthy enough to go after. So that's why self-worth that is where self-worth ties in and is so important to this. Because again, with you not having any idea what it is that you want to do, you might also not have any idea or feel disconnected from yourself of what it is that you're capable of or what it is that you have the potential to do. Which is why it's so important for you in this instance, it seems, to also focus on reconnecting to yourself. So as far as what's coming up next in your career and in your finances, we're really looking at you figuring out what it is that you want to be doing for the rest of your life. And what's coming out here is that something that would be very fruitful financially for you and allow for you to feel fulfilled would be you going inward and figuring out what it is that you're good at, figuring out what it is that feels fulfilling for you, what it is that allows for you to feel joyful and passionate, and so on and so forth. So yeah, as far as what's coming next, it's definitely necessary that you begin to focus on what it is that you actually want to be doing with your life, and beginning to figure it out. Beginning to figure it out, because that's why you're feeling stuck, and that's why there's a lack of movement, and that might be why you are feeling like you are stuck or you're not making any progress. That might also be why you're just kind of, as it seems, or as we could see from the beginning, just trying to wait around and see what falls into your lap, because there's this lack of knowing what it is that you actually want from your life. There's perhaps even a lack of knowing what it is that brings you fulfillment and joy, and what would do that long term. And I do feel like this is also something that you're struggling with, because we have storm warning in reverse, and then we have the victory card in reverse. The victory card in reverse, again, can indicate to me a lack of self-worth, and even perhaps a disconnection from yourself. And that storm warning card to me indicates that this is something that you do worry about. This is something that you do worry about, either because you've been, kind of in career paths or at jobs that you don't really like or enjoy. It could also be indicating that this is something that you worry about, because it's just like, especially with the victory card, it starts to become this, like, am I ever going to find something? Oops, wrong way. Am I ever going to find something that I enjoy? Or am I ever going to find something that makes me successful? And then as I'm saying all of this, we have the anxiety card jump out next. Okay, so again, this is something that you're really beginning to worry about, and I also feel like this is something that you're really beginning to beat yourself up about, which is why it is so important that you do begin to do that inner work to start with, that you begin to come back into balance, that you begin to cultivate an abundance mindset, that you begin to focus on your self-worth, and that you begin to, do inner child healing, but also to just do anything, even in your life right now, that you feel fulfilled by or passionate about. And how do we, for lack of a better way of saying it, but how do we then begin to monetize or find career paths that are in alignment with what it is that we feel passionate about and fulfilled by? And that's really what is the next step for you. There's no need for you to worry about this or to make yourself anxious and sick over it, because that's taking you further away from that goal of figuring out what the hell it is that you want to do for the rest of your life. And there are a ton of great meditations, but my favorite one, and the meditation that I did that actually made me get into doing this, is this. It's Jason Stevenson, and it has something in the title. It's a Jason Stevenson 28-day guided meditation, and it's either creating or manifesting a new reality for yourself. That's what got me into doing this, because I had no idea what the hell I was good at. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, and that's what pushed me into doing this. So I swear by that meditation. I recommend that meditation to everyone and anyone that will listen to me recommend it to them. And I highly recommend it. And if anybody needs a link to it because you can't find it, you could always DM me on Instagram or email me. We have the garden and the gate jump out next, again indicating that you feel stuck right now. You feel stuck. You feel like you are kind of, like, I just got this, like, trapped in a glass house type of thing. I'm not sure if that's a cliche of any kind, but that's what I heard. Like, you're just trapped. And okay, this is what it's indicating. So this trapped in a glass house message that I got is, I feel you looking at your peers, you looking at other people, even in your life, but you looking especially at your peers, perhaps people you went to high school with, people in your same age group, and so on and so forth, that are having great success. that are excelling in their career. Perhaps people, friends, family members that knew exactly what they wanted to do from the time that they came out of the womb. That's not your journey. So you can't allow you, and that's an aspect of a lack mindset too. This competition, this perhaps jealousy that can arise from that is something that also needs to be worked on. And then we have Angel of Strength, yet again indicating working on your self-worth and working on your self-confidence. So all in all, pile 3, there's a mental and emotional aspect of this that needs to be addressed. First, I had a similar, I guess, theme come out in pile 1, where what needed to be addressed first was what's going on mentally and emotionally. Because if you have no idea what direction you want your career to go in, it's very difficult for you to see what's next or what can lie ahead for you. There's no idea. Like, I feel like for pile 3, a lot of you feel like that you don't have a very good idea of what it is that you want to be doing in regard to your career. Or you might feel lost. You might even be in a career path and it is not for you. And now again, you're just feeling very lost and you're not sure of what direction to go in at this point. One of the first harsh messages that we got was that this is not something that's going to, just fall into your lap. If you want to see change occur within your career and within your finances, then you have to be the change. You have to be the person that starts setting the ball in motion. What's being indicated here is that what's really going to allow for you to excel, and what's going to allow for you even to get that ball into motion is by you focusing on the imbalances that are taking place here. Cultivate an abundance mindset, because that takes care of a lot of that takes care of dealing with your self-worth at times. That takes care of you feeling like you're competing with or feeling jealous of other people in your life that have what you want. There's a need for you to begin to release any like mental and emotional imbalances such as anxiety and worry that might be taking place. Even feeling like a failure. And that's one thing that's coming through here as well. It's like there's a lack of self-worth, and there's also just this lack of like feeling abundant. There's this even lack of gratitude, which again, cultivating an abundance mindset and focusing on what it is that you're grateful for, focusing on self-worth, are all going to be things that are extremely helpful in helping you to get this ball moving. Okay, then we also had inner child healing and focusing on what it is that is fulfilling and joyful, things that you feel passionate about, things that allow for you to be creative and fulfilled, passionate and purposeful. Okay, there's a lot of meditative work even that has to begin to occur here, especially when it comes to an abundance mindset, and when it comes to you just in general feeling more balanced and even perhaps more ready to take on and to go after what it is that you want to go after. But it's very difficult to do so. It's very difficult to know what you want out of life if you are stuck in this anxiety and this worry. And if there has been this lack of movement, because it's like this perpetuating cycle almost, where you're telling yourself that you have no idea what it is that you want to do or who it is that you want to be. That causes for you to feel a lack of motivation to do much of anything. That causes you to stop focusing on things such as self-love and self-care, meditative work even, because now you're really starting to feel like shit about yourself. And I get that even from the Empress, which was the first tarot card to jump out, that at times you're just feeling very, very crappy because you don't have it all figured out yet. And to be honest, nobody has it all figured out. Nobody has it all figured out. And what's necessary for you moving forward is to address what is going on mentally and emotionally, to start to cultivate this abundance mindset, because that's going to be what allows for you to see. And of course, can't forget listening to your inner guidance, reconnecting to and harnessing. Sorry, pile 3, I'm not sure where my camera cut me off at, but of course we are right at the very end when it had to cut me off. And what I was trying to say is that reconnection to your inner guidance and that reconnection to your intuition is really going to be what allows for you to clearly see your innate gifts. that allows for you to see what your, special talents are, what your unlimited potential is, how much personal power you have over this situation. Okay, so there's got to be this cultivation of self-worth, of an abundance mindset, and of reconnecting to, in order to harness and utilize your intuition in order to help you move forward toward what is next in your career. So literally the next step in your career is to cultivate an abundance mindset, is to reconnect to your intuition, and is to build up your self-worth in order to start making movement forward in your career that feel passionate, purposeful, and fulfilling for you. Okay, so I hope that I was able to give you some insight and some clarity on what is going on within your career. Thank you so, so much, Pile 3, for allowing me to read for you today, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.